I am so sorry for those of you who are afraid of snakes. This is your warning. I am Adela, and I'm going to be showing you how to make an enlarged drawing. Hopefully, if I can figure this out, there will be an image of my final piece right here. So, enlarged, in case you don't know what it means, is zoomed in, making it bigger. I've been inspired by a friend of mine named Tuck. We went to the same school. Amazing art teacher. Anyways, I was also inspired by Georgia O'Keeffe. If you don't know who Georgia O'Keeffe is, you are sleeping on her. So, I'll get you caught up, in case you don't know who she is. So this is the Georgia O'Keeffe. One of her paintings is right behind her, but she is an amazing woman. She's most known for her enlarged flowers, as shown in this one. This one is actually at the High Museum of Art. She was the first woman to have a solo show at the Museum of Modern Art, which is amazing. Her most expensive piece is actually the most expensive piece sold by a woman at $44.4 million. It's this piece right here. She's been around the country and eventually settled down in New Mexico. She loved the landscapes and the indigenous and Latino culture. This piece is personally my favorite. It shows the skull, the flower, some clouds, and a landscape. It pretty much sums up who she is. She finished her career blind right before her death, so she's awesome. Look at you, a genius. You know who Georgia O'Keeffe is now. So you can just be like Miss Georgia O'Keeffe. You can make an enlarged flower if you'd like, or you can make enlarged food, fabric, animals, or I don't know, maybe even trash bags if you're interested in trash bags. I don't know why, but sure. I am so sorry for those of you who are afraid of snakes. This is your warning. I decided for this project that I wanted to make a drawing of a snake. I chose this because of the textures of a snake. Now, I have an image printed out. I can only imagine that you do not want to waste your ink or don't have a printer. I surely did not want to print this out, but I am recording with my phone, so I had no other choice. Anyways, if you have your phone or a laptop or whatever the case is, go ahead and find an image of what you want. Again, this can be anything. If you don't have a device to find an image, just get something that's close to you. The closest thing to me right now is my hand sanitizer. The hand sanitizer that I fought for with my blood, sweat, and tears. No, I didn't. Actually, they just sell it at Walgreens. Anyways, if I was using my hand sanitizer, I just zoom in probably on the label, maybe on that 15 seconds. Once you have it zoomed in, you would have noticed on my sample, again, if I can figure it out, it will be right here, that it is a circle. A circle. That was a weird circle, but a circle. If I have my snake image and I may have a circle, I'm only focusing on one part of this image. I'm not drawing the whole thing. I'm only focusing and zooming in on one section. So you will be doing the same. Figure out which section you would like to focus on. In this case, I'd like to focus on the eye. So here are some other examples from students from my friend Tuck. Their students did a really awesome job. Once you have selected your image, we can move on. For this project, you'll need color pencils, a sheet of paper, a pencil, and optional, something round to trace like a bowl, and some scissors in case you want to cut it out. Now, in order for us to start out, I want us to go ahead and focus on a point that's going to be in a circular shape. In this case, I want to go ahead and focus on the eye. Next, I'm going to go ahead and focus in the shapes that are inside the circle. It gets really complicated by looking at the snake, but if you look at every single shape, it actually breaks it down for us. Makes it so much easier for us to be able to follow along and redraw this onto our sheet of paper. Wow, look at me going over my shapes. Since you won't have this image printed out, you'll just be looking at it through your phone. I'm just going over here and thoroughly showing you what shapes I am focusing on. Next, I'm going to take my sheet of paper and I'm going to trace my bowl onto it. You don't really need a bowl or anything to trace. If you don't have anything, just feel free to make your own circle. And look at that, a circle. Next, you want to focus in on the large shapes that take up most of your drawing. In this case, it's the eyeball, the mouth, and the nostril. I actually forgot that snakes have nostrils. Kind of spooky if you ask me. So I messed up here. I decided to use a red color pencil and I realized I'm supposed to be using a pencil. So please use a pencil, don't be like me. Now that I finished making my big components, I'm going in and making the scales. In this case, you might not have scales, you might have fabric or even fur, so just take your time on this. Obviously, your big components can shift around. You want to focus on the scale. Once you have everything done, I want you to focus in on any glares. In this case, I have some white in the eyeball and part of the nostril, so I'm going in and adding in some of those components. So we are now moving on to coloring. You should have some color pencils and you might notice that I am making a value scale. Value scale is from darkness to light or light to darkness using the same color. In this case, I'm using some green, went from dark green to light green, writing in that word value, keyword value. Now, this value is directly inspired from this section. Other sections are going to look differently. So I'm going to make another value scale down here, except I'm going to be aware of where my darkness is. It obviously does not look like the same one from the other section. Now I've noticed that there's actually some brown that is a part of the green. It's not a vibrant green, so I'm adding in some brown to make it more accurate to the picture. Now that I have an understanding about the value, I'm going in and using that value onto the sections that I was reviewing. Notice how I've gone from a dark green to a lighter green by using my color pencil and applying pressure when needed. Now that I'm done with the green, I'm going back in with that brown as I had talked before about. I started noticing that there's actually some yellow, so I've decided to go back in and add some yellow towards the lighter sections. So now that I'm moving towards the top of the snake, I'm noticing that this section is actually a lot darker than the front. So instead of starting off with green, I decided to start off with brown and then going on top with green. Now that I know my value scale, I'm going back in and using those colors and shades onto my piece. Now I'm going to use that same technique and fill in the rest of the snake. So I've now realized that the snake actually has some type of shading down here. It's that gray section. So with my gray color pencil, I'm going in and adding in that section. I know that it starts here, so I'm going to start there on my actual piece. Next, I'm noticing that there's actual black lines that make it more popped out, and this is going to make it even more beautiful. Now, take a look at how my snake is fabulous. Now I'm going to go ahead and focus in on that eye. I have my shape, so I'm simply going to color it in with my black color pencil. I'm going in with my gray color pencil to add in that value that I've noticed in the image. I'm going in with that black color pencil to fill in the eyeball. Now I'm using my white color pencil, and this changes everything. Just look at that beauty. Okay, so you can't really see the white, so I'm going back in with the black color pencil so you can really see its effect. Since I've completed the top head, I'm going to go ahead and do the lower side of the head, so underneath the mouth. I'm going to be doing this with a brown color pencil. I've noticed that it starts off at the bottom and gets lighter towards the middle, so yeah. Now I'm going in, adding in some values, and adding my final touches. And bam! We got our final piece. Look at that snazzy snake. Now, the only step that's really left, and you don't have to do this, is to cut it out. Look at her, a beauty. I'm so proud. And you should have made your enlarged drawing. Thanks for tuning in.